If your desk is looking a little bit messy right now, don't worry, I have some DIYs that might just help. Hello everybody and welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, hi, my name is Hermione, and on this channel I like to share with you how you can craft your best life on a budget. And today I have some DIY projects for you that might just help you tidy up your desk a little bit. These projects are all very simple, but they all revolve around organisation, particularly for your desk, but you can use most of these in any part of your house. So let's get started and I'm going to show you the first project. First up is this paper and file holder. It's so easy to make, you can use almost anything for the base. You just need a few really large beads and then you can sort your papers and files nicely on your desk. To make this project, I started with a plastic IKEA frame. As I said, you can use any kind of flat, square item, a block of wood or anything you have lying around. But with this frame, I pulled the back off and I left just the clear insert for the top of it. Then it was time to prep it for spray painting, and if this piece of newspaper isn't the most relatable thing you've ever seen, then I don't know what is. Nevertheless, I used washi tape to go around the edges to protect them from the spray paint. This way I could paint the inside of the frame, let it dry, and then flip it over. Once it was dry, I was able to flip it over and add my beads, and I found these in a charity shop actually, but you can find giant beads in most craft stores. They often have nice wooden beads that you can paint any colour. So I arranged them in a diagonal line, making sure they were all spaced equally apart. Took a little bit of shuffling to get it right, but once that was done, I then just used my hot glue gun and added a little bit of hot glue to the bottom of each bead and placed it down on top of the frame. And that's really all there is to it. Once the glue has dried, you can start using this to arrange all of your files, your paperwork, and even your pencil cases that you might have lying around on your desk. I don't know about you guys, but my desk is always cluttered with things and I kind of need to raise some of them up a bit so I have a little bit more space. So I decided to make a mini desk shelf, and it adds a bit of a pop of colour to my kind of plain desk. This is great if you have a desktop computer because you can store your keyboard and mouse underneath it. So I'm going to show you just what I did to make this. For this next project, I'm using a thick piece of plywood which I had cut down at my local hardware store. I had it cut to 6 inches by 21 inches, which was the perfect size for my desk, but you can cut yours any size you would like and then go ahead and paint it. You could stain it, you could just wax it, but I decided to paint mine pink. And then the next thing was to find legs for this piece. So to make legs, I ended up using these spools from some sequin trim. I had 4 of them lying around and they were all the same height and I thought they would be perfect. I found it really difficult to find something that would be great for the feet, as furniture legs are far too big, but you could probably use big beads or something like that. It just depends what you have lying around your house. So get a bit creative, and you want to make sure it's at least a couple of inches high so you have a little bit of space underneath. I used hot glue to secure them in place, and this is how it turned out, and it's a really handy little shelf for my desk to store all of the extra bits of clutter. You know those grid organizers that last year everybody and their mum had from Urban Outfitters? corners. Well, I like those, but I needed something a little bit smaller and I wanted to try and make something a bit different. So I made this triangle wall organizer, which I don't know if you can even see me holding up right now, but it's really nice and small. It fits in a tight space and it's great for adding little Polaroid pictures and memos too. The most important part of this project is the bamboo sticks that I'm using to create it. You can either use bamboo garden sticks or you can use small wooden dowels or even barbecue skewers. All you're going to do is create a triangle shape using them, making sure all of the points come together, and then use a hot glue gun to attach these together. Use a small dot of glue to get them stuck to each other, and then once that's dry, go ahead and add a bigger blob of glue on top just to make sure they're nice and secure. Once you have your triangle shape, you can then go in and create a couple of lines in the middle. So use some scissors to very carefully cut these to the right size, and then once again, using your hot glue gun, you can place these where they need to be and glue them down. It's up to you how big or small you want to make this project and how many lines you want to add to the inside of the triangle. I went for a really small piece with just 2 lines on the inside, perfect for adding little Instax pictures too. Once I was finished, I did flip the triangle over and added blobs of hot glue at each join on the back of the triangle just to make it super secure. Then once it was dry, I coated it in a coat of gold spray paint. And that's literally all there is to it. All you have to do is hang it on your wall, and you can add anything you want to it using those mini clothespins or any other kind of clips that you might have. When I'm scrolling through Pinterest, I keep seeing these amazing wicker baskets or rope baskets, and some of them actually have sequin detail on them, so I wanted to try and recreate something like that, but on a smaller scale. So I came up with this. It's a little rope basket that you can put on your desk or anywhere in your room to collect junk. Mine's actually full of things. It's got sequins, a bead, a copper end cap, and a very small pom-pom maker, which has not been used enough recently. I'm going to be back on my pom-pom game very soon, I promise. But this is very simple to make. You're going to need some rope and sequins and a hot glue gun. Let's get right into it. To make this basket, you'll need really thick, durable rope. That way it's going to hold the structure really well. You can find this in most craft stores or even home renovation stores. So to create the basket, what you'll want to do is create a loop and then hot glue it down. Then keep going and create a spiral going out from the loop, making sure to hot glue every single section that you place down. This will make it strong and tough so it's not going to fall apart. Once you're happy with the size of the base of your basket, you can start creating the walls of it. So keep your rope attached and then start hot gluing on top of the last loop that you created around your circle. Build this up and keep going around until you're happy with the height of it. And there you have it, a very, very simple basket, and you can make this in any kind of size that you want. Once you've made one, you'll probably end up making a lot of them because they're quite addictive to make. To add a little something extra to this basket, I'm using gold sequin trim, and you guessed it, I'm hot gluing this to the basket. It's so easy to do, but I would recommend, if you are going to use sequins, getting that sequin trim with a few rows attached to each other, because using one row was quite tricky and there were a few small mistakes that you might notice on this basket. So just bear that in mind, but you could really use anything you wanted to decorate it with, maybe some fabric or some gems. This is how mine turned out, and it makes for a really useful catch-all dish on my desk, and I'm very excited to make some more because they're quite addictive to keep making. And finally, I want to show you how to make this very simple catch-all dish. All you're going to need for this project is a piece of thick fabric. I'm using faux leather. You can use upholstery fabric or anything that's sturdy. And you will need to hand stitch a small amount on this or sew it on a machine, but it's so simple, I promise you. So let me show you how I made it. I'm starting with my square of upholstery fabric, which was about 9 by 9 inches, and folding that in half into a triangle. So we're going to sew the corners, and I sewed about 1.5 inches from the edge for each one. So I'm just using my sewing machine to do this and a very thick needle with a light tension. After doing the first 2 corners, it should look something like this. Then you want to fold it in half again so that you can do the other 2 corners as well. Don't forget to measure them once again to make sure each point is at an equal distance, and you can use a pencil to mark this point as well. Once you finish, just go ahead and sew them all together, and you should have a little bowl that looks something like this. It's quite effective for storing any little trinkets that you might have lying around, and I've definitely seen these in some of the trendy home stores like Oliver Bonus, so you can make one of these with very little effort and on a very tight budget. So that is everything for today's video. I really hope you guys enjoyed it, and I hope it inspired you to get organised and have a little bit of fun while doing it. So if you did like this video, don't forget to give it a like. Let me know in the comments down below. I'd love to hear from you. And as always, have a great week, and I'll see you next time. Bye!